Okay, so we are about to dive into a massive, and I mean massive, shift in how we all interact with entertainment. We're talking about a potential new $1 trillion market. And the wildest part? It's all built on something most of us already do just for fun. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You walk out of a movie, you're totally hyped, and you turn to your friend and say, "That's it. That's going to be a billion-dollar movie. Easy." And they just look at you and go, "No way. It's going to bomb." It's the classic debate every fan has had. Well, what if that argument wasn't just about bragging rights anymore? What if you could actually put that pop culture knowledge to the test and prove once and for all that you've got the sharpest read on Hollywood? That's exactly the shift we're going to break down. So let's be clear. This isn't just some new app or a fad. We're talking about a fundamental change in how we behave as consumers and fans. It's a shift that some people out there are predicting could be worth $1 trillion. And the core idea here has a name: speculative entertainment. Basically, it's the concept that just watching or liking or commenting on stuff, well, it's not enough anymore. The next evolution is active participation, where you actually have some skin in the game. So, let's just break that down visually. Over on the left, you've got the old way of doing things: passive viewing. You watch a movie, like a post, maybe drop a comment. But on the right, that's where things get interesting: speculative entertainment. Now, you're forecasting box office numbers. You're trading on a movie's potential success. You're competing against other fans. It's a whole different ballgame. And this quote just nails it. I mean, think about how revolutionary it was when platforms like YouTube or Twitter basically turned any of us into a content creator. This is that same kind of huge paradigm shift, but it's for fandom. Suddenly, every fan has the tools to be an active player, to move out of the audience and onto the trading floor of pop culture. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds a whole lot like gambling. But what's so fascinating here is that this is all built on a really solid legal foundation. And to get how we got here, we've got to look back at a couple of key moments. It really all kicked off back in 2018. The Supreme Court strikes down a law called PASPA, which had basically banned sports betting everywhere except a few places. And that decision, it opened the floodgates. It helped cement daily fantasy sports, DraftKings, FanDuel, as legal games of skill, not illegal games of chance. That little distinction created a gigantic industry and paved the way for the next big thing: prediction markets, where people can trade on literally anything, from elections to economic reports. So these prediction markets proved something really important: that people have this massive appetite for forecasting real-world events, and not just in sports. It showed there was a clear demand for turning your knowledge and your insights into something you could actually trade on. People want to put their predictions to the test. And all of that brings us to the biggest entertainment industry on the entire planet. An industry that, somehow, has been completely left on the sidelines of this whole revolution: Hollywood. I mean, just look at the contrast here. The markets for sports and politics predictions, they're getting pretty crowded. You could say they're saturated. But entertainment, Hollywood, it is a massive, wide-open blue ocean. The fandom is global, it's passionate, and you could easily argue it's more universal than sports. Seriously, think about it. People already spend countless hours on Reddit and Twitter and Letterboxd, fiercely debating box office numbers, Rotten Tomatoes scores, who's going to win the Oscar. The behavior is already there. The passion is absolutely there. The only thing that's been missing is a platform to make it official. So the billion-dollar question is, who is going to step in and fill this huge gap? Well, this is where a truly iconic name from the movie world comes back into the picture with a really, really clever new play. The company is called Mogul, and it's from MoviePass. And the thing is, they're not starting from zero, not even close. They are walking into this with three gigantic advantages: absolutely insane brand recognition, patents pending on their unique game mechanics, and a huge first-mover advantage specifically in the Hollywood space. Let's just pause on this number for a second: 99%. That's the estimated brand awareness for MoviePass. A brand new startup would have to burn hundreds of millions of dollars just to get people to know their name. MoviePass already has that in the bag. It's a massive, almost unfair head start. And I love this quote because it really captures their ambition. You see, a Bloomberg terminal is like the gold standard data tool for Wall Street. So calling Mogul the Bloomberg terminal for pop culture, that frames it not as just some simple game, but as this essential data-driven tool for anyone who takes culture seriously. It's the definitive platform for the armchair expert economy. Okay, so the idea is compelling, the company seems perfectly positioned to pull it off. But why right now? Why is this the moment? Well, the answer is that all the signals are flashing green, pointing to an imminent explosion in this whole space. And look, the validation from third parties is already rolling in. According to the Washington Post, the absolute biggest players in daily fantasy sports, DraftKings and FanDuel, are making major moves into this exact area. When multi-billion-dollar companies start pivoting like that, you know the market is for real. They see which way the wind is blowing. Investor Place is saying the same thing, calling it a hyper-growth sector. They frame it as the truth economy, a marketplace where every single what-if can become a potential trade. The thinking is that the collective wisdom of everyone playing can produce these startlingly accurate forecasts. This isn't just a small trend, it's being recognized as a major new economic force. And you know, at the end of the day, it all comes back to a fundamental shift in how we behave. Research from PwC shows that younger audiences, we're talking Gen Z and millennials, are just wired differently. They want active participation. They don't just want to consume culture, they want to interact with it, influence it, and have a real stake in it. And for Hollywood, this is a potential goldmine of data, real-time insight into what audiences are thinking. So it really feels like we're standing at the dawn of a new era. One where your expertise in movies, in music, in TV shows could actually become a monetizable skill. Which really just leaves one last big question. Could all those hours you've spent geeking out over pop culture actually be the next trillion-dollar asset?